Hello, I hope you're having a great week so far. I've got my coffee. Slurp. Today we're going to talk about a topic that is really awkward, but one that we never really talk about, but it does affect us a lot if we have compulsive skin picking disorder or any of the bodily focus repetitive behaviors, and that is dating. I mean, dating with dermatillomania, not dating dermatillomania, even though it feels like I'm on a never-ending date with that shit. What I want to talk about today is a little bit of my experience, the thoughts that I have kind of gathered from that in hindsight of my dating days, in case it helps you too. So I've been with my boyfriend now for 3.5 years, and before we got together, I was single for about 2.5 years. I had a great time. I was going out partying, a lot of cocktails, a lot of dancing with my girl pals. It was a hell of a lot of fun. I had a great time. But I always knew deep down that I had a real difficult time getting intimate quick with someone that I didn't have an emotional connection to first. Some friends, they were able to just kind of maybe more of a physical connection with someone quick, and they could just go straight from A to B very quickly, but I always had a real difficult time with that. I think because I really always needed that emotional connection for me to feel I could go from A to B with someone. Every personality is different. I don't know if you've used the Myers-Briggs personality test. My answers are ENFJ. So I already know that I'm a very extroverted person, but I'm also very in touch with my feelings. I use how I feel to make decisions in my life, and I know that when I was dating, that was a huge thing for me. So the issue with that, I was getting very emotionally connected to a person very soon. It did have its red flags, because even though I was very good at getting to know someone and for somebody to feel comfortable opening themselves up to me, I knew that I was also very much a closed book because I didn't feel comfortable in them really getting to know me on a deep enough level. I was good at putting this mask on and showing what I wanted to show, but the real me had a real difficult time expressing that. I was really putting a lot of my energy into trying to portray the version of me that I wanted others to see, and that caused a lot of pressure. That caused me to pick a hell of a lot more, because I was trying to upkeep this persona, this Kim who doesn't mind not being emotionally connected to people, doesn't mind being single, having fun with other people, and trying to pretend that I was super confident, loved how I looked, didn't care whatsoever what anyone thought about me, when deep down I felt very much afraid about what people would think about me, and I did not feel confident. I definitely didn't feel confident in selling myself. And so by having years of experience with dermatillomania had taught me how to put this mask on and pretending that I'm good, pretend I'm okay and I'm confident and I'm eager and so when I was single and dating, I was kind of tapped into that. But was it legit? No, it was definitely exterior that I had learned to put on myself in order to portray the version of myself I wanted others to see, but that wasn't necessarily me. When I look back on times when I was dating, I can definitely remember patterns when my dermatillomania was really bad. I think that has a lot to do with dates I would go on, people I would get to know, and how it made me feel. There was times where I was getting to know people on a very emotional level that I knew deep down it just wasn't gonna work, and that we were very different, not for the best reasons, but just because we connected on some level but not all levels. I always knew that was an issue for me, and because of that it would always go so far, and then I'd have to break it off, and I would push back completely, and it just wouldn't work out because I just never really felt ready. I use my dermatillomania as a defense mechanism so that people couldn't get too close to me. I saw it as a positive thing, I will never be able to be intimate with this person or go to another step in this whatever it is that we have, because I will always have dermatillomania that will stop me from doing it. I know that as long as my skin is bad, they can't touch me, we can't be close in that way. In hindsight, when I look back on that, it's why did I have such a problem with allowing that person to be close to me because probably I knew deep down that it just wasn't right, and I was just doing it to kind of please someone else. I know if they were into me, then I will get to know them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm hugely interested in them or that they are perfect for me or that I see a future with this person. It was just a case of being a people pleaser. I think back on my dating experience, a lot of it was like people pleasing, and I used dermatillomania as my crutch so that I couldn't get too close to someone that it would end up hurting me. So I would always be using my compulsive skin picking disorder as a mechanism to stop people getting too close to me. I started a new relationship with my now partner, and I remember having that conversation with him. It was a tricky one. I knew that it wasn't something that I necessarily wanted to talk about, but I knew that I needed to talk about it with him because I saw a future with this person, you know, like finally I'd found someone that it was ticking all the boxes. I was like, right, we are compatible on this level, this level, this level, this, like it feels great. I see a future with this person. Once we were official couple, about a month or two after, I started to talk about my compulsive skin picking disorder because I thought it was really important. Also, it was kind of like a test. I wanted to see how we'd react to it. I had an inkling of how he would react, but at the same time, like, it was really important that I got it out there because what I was sure of is that I didn't want to carry this facade of this person that I was trying to be for however long with people that, you know, didn't mean that much to me, I wasn't that close with. I didn't want it to be the case in this relationship. I wanted to go at it transparent and honest. And I think by doing so, by just being honest and saying, I struggle from anxiety, I've struggled from anxiety for many years. It's something that I actively work to manage. But when my anxiety is really high, I do get urges to compulsively skin pick just because it has manifested that way over many years. It's been a way for me to release, but unfortunately it's something that I do manage day to day, and there will be times where I slip up with it. I just feel like it's important that I let you know because it's something that affects me a hell of a lot and you're really important to me. So I just really want to be completely honest and transparent to you so that you can understand. You don't have to understand, but I want you to know because this means a lot to me, and it means a lot to me that I'm able to talk to you about it. Having that conversation with him after, it was like a weight was lifted. It just felt so much easier, you know. He didn't have to get it, he didn't have to fix the problem, it wasn't something for him to solve. I just wanted him to listen and be supportive in whatever way I wanted him to be supportive, and in that time it was to just simply listen. I communicated that very early on in the conversation. I just said, you know, you don't have to try and solve this. I'm not telling you this so that you can fix it in any way. I simply just want you to listen because it means a lot to me that you do. That in itself is super supportive. So having that conversation with him definitely helped my relationship in so many ways. I knew that when I was dating, it was totally different because I would be meeting different people, and although it was fun to meet different people, I never really had that moment where I was really connecting and thought, wow, I feel like there's a future with this person. And because of that, every time that, say I went on like a second date or a third date, the dermatillomania was really bad. And I think that's because a part of me was saying, this isn't working, no, I don't feel like this is right. Trying to communicate, but of course, me being the people pleaser, I was like, well, okay, whatever, like, that's fine, we don't have to get close or anything like that. Using my dermatillomania as a defense mechanism, but I would still, you know, go on dates and get to know these people. Being the people pleaser is not the best way to do things because ultimately all you do is you develop more of a connection with someone that you can't see a foreseeable future with, and eventually you're gonna have to still have that conversation where you're like, yeah, I don't think it's working, and you just wasted time. Your dermatillomania was trying to communicate to you whether it felt that you were compatible with this other person or whether you still needed time to develop yourself, or both. There was obviously communication trying to occur and I wasn't listening to it. It manifested in compulsive skin picking, which then just made dating a hell of a lot harder. So what I would say to you is, if you are dating, the best way is to not put pressure on yourself. So I hope that you don't go and say, you know, I'm not going to date until I stop my dermatillomania, until my skin is completely clear. I'm not going to date anymore, because that starts everything with a really, really pressurizing start. Telling yourself, I'm not going to do something that gives me a lot of comfort when I'm feeling very uneasy or overwhelmed, frustrated, whatever it is, saying to yourself, I'm not going to do that. I have to stop doing that before I can meet someone. That starts things off in a very pressurizing way. Also not realistic. You'll probably find that you'll go back to skin picking anyway and feeling disappointed. If you are currently dating, eliminate that pressure. But I think the best thing is, if you feel like you are wasting time or you are skin picking more when you're dating someone and you're just unsure of that person, I think it's really good to take a minute, meditate, go for a walk, and ask yourself, why do you think your skin picking has increased? Is it because you feel like you and this other person, it's not really working, or like the compatibility is not really there? Or is it a case that maybe you're not ready to date? And that was something that was really hard for me, because I realized that for a large part of my single life I wasn't ready to date, but I was dating simply because I was scared of being alone. I didn't want to not be with someone, so I was searching frantically to find someone I didn't really need, and I would get to know people on an emotional level, connect, all this, and then I'd push back because I knew that actually it wasn't working, and it just made a whole lot of mess simply because I was afraid to be alone. I was afraid to work on my own problems because I knew that lifting that lid was going to be hella difficult. Take some time for you and figure that one out. Whilst you've been dating, you've been compulsively skin picking more. Ask yourself why that is. It's so important, because you don't want to use it as a safety mechanism forever. You don't want to find that you have a great date with someone and then you go and compulsively skin pick, or you compulsively skin pick before you go on a date and then you try and cancel. I've been through that so many times and it's horrible. You want to feel good. You want to feel excited, confident as you can feel within yourself in that given time, and to just be present and enjoy it. Fully conscious, fully immersive in the conversation or the experience, and just have a really great time. And when your dermatillomania is acting up, you can't, because you're constantly fearing that your skin looks a certain way, or a light, like the harsh lights in some restaurants, and you're like, no, and it's like just showing things that you're trying not to show people, or somebody touches your shoulder and you're like, oh my god, I didn't say you could touch me. All these things that we don't have to worry about when we're not compulsively skin picking, but they just highlight, they illuminate like the Batman light in the sky when we have compulsively skin picked. So it's something to consider for sure. And if you feel like you have met someone and it's actually going somewhere and you're thinking this is amazing, don't fully hold back. Don't wait forever to tell them how you're feeling, because they can help, they can be supportive. Doesn't mean they have to fix it, doesn't mean they have to solve it. Take charge of that conversation and say, look, I just want to talk to you about this because it's something that's really important to me, but I simply want you to listen at this time. I will come back to you, I will discuss it with you again if I feel you could really help me in some way, but right now I just want to talk to you about it, and I hope that you can simply listen and hear me out and just support me in that way, because it means all the world. If you like this video, please give it a little like in the usual place, and if you have any questions, as always, drop them down in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time. Bye. See you in 3 days. Bye bye.